she did the intro this time. I didn't like it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to do it better than that. You're gonna have to be a little louder, put a little bit more effort into it. Try again. One more time. There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not anything better than I can do, obviously, but it's pretty good. All right. So I did something different today. Posted my one of my YouTube videos up on a few different car channels or car groups on Facebook. All right, you're really gonna have to stop doing that. Where can I put you? You won't hurt the hood. Yes. So I posted my. You can be petted, but you can't be noisy. So I put a video up on a few of my car channels car groups on Facebook. That really helped out. Jumped 100 views in that video in like 12 hours, something like that. So that was pretty good. But I posted it up kind of looking for constructive criticism or tips on if anybody's doing this themselves or something like that. Maybe give me some pointers on what I can do to make my product a little better. And what somebody mentioned was strangling your cat and making it go somewhere else so it can't ever ruin another one of your videos. So I'm thinking about that, but while I ponder that, we'll go through some of the things they actually said. And one guy mentioned that to stay on the better part of the algorithms, the videos need to be like a little bit over 10 minutes or at least 10 minutes plus. So gonna try to do that today. I'm thinking at least 6 of these minutes is gonna be me frying this cat on my grill because she won't shut up. So please. Oh, okay. Wonder how long it'll take her to figure out how to get back in the garage. She's gonna either end up in that window or around the front, but at least we'll maybe got a little bit of time. It looks like it's about time to clean up this place again. I kind of got everything. Well, I guess the hood being on a stand and the bumper on the stand is kind of making it look a little cluttered in here, but I need to at least blow it out tomorrow. So what are we doing? Blocked on this last night. Feels good. That's wet, ready for the final poly glaze, or not poly glaze, just metal glaze wipe. Glaze wipe. The back section could use just a hair more blocking, then it'll be ready. So I'll do a wipe along the entire outside. This front section needs a little bit more blocking. I kind of stopped in the middle of it last night. I will finish up this blocking. I will tape back on this line on that side, kind of like how that tape is, and I will do another layer, another wipe on here. Friend of the channel, friend of me, Jimmy, who works at Body Shop, recommended me this stuff right here. This is good shit. So what it does is you can add it to your thick ass Bondo and it won't be as thick. And so you can, there's been a few times where it's like, I would have really liked to just do a really thin wipe, but because Bondo is so thick, it doesn't like to lay super thin. So sometimes I'll just wipe it in glaze instead, which is fine. I mean, glaze is meant for thinner wipes like that, but it can be a lot more expensive. A gallon of Bondo that I'm buying is like $27, and that's about how much a pint of glaze is, or a quart of glaze. So it's more cost effective to be able to just, I think that was like 16 bucks, that honey auto body filler thinner. So I can stretch my Bondo a lot further and there'll be a lot less waste, because if things like this right here, I'm not going to wipe it in Bondo again, I'm going to wipe it in glaze. But let's say this was just perfectly freaking smooth. Well, okay, obviously not perfectly freaking smooth, but really close to freaking smooth. I don't need to just cake it up with Bondo. That's just that much more material I have to sand. Once you got your shit really close, and maybe you're just trying to like get some pinholes or some very light waves out of it, then, or just some inconsistent spots that you've sanded, then you want to wipe just a really thin amount so you're not one, burning through a bunch of shop supplies. Like me, I'm not using shop supplies, I'm using my own supplies. So I need to be sparing on what I use. This stuff can get pretty expensive. I did a little bit more, show an update on the SR20 polish project. This side, untouched, black. I'm starting to think this is really fucking tough. I'm starting to think that this was powder coat. But this side I have got to, it's not quite red Scotch-Brite. I think the last grit I used was 220. So I can't polish off 220, obviously. I'm gonna have to bring it to 320, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, and then it's ready to polish. So that is the, I ran down real quick, but all right, let me see if I can just grab an aluminum piece here. I'm sure I've got some non-sanded aluminum somewhere around here. Some wires. All right, so well, this is a neat little thing I can show you. This, I'll try to get some more light on it. I think it's just the back screen. Yeah, is the back screen was doled out. This is not a mini turbo. No, it's not. This is actually the front of a BMW water pump. I may plug in a picture of the actual water pump that it came off of, but I cut the back off, obviously. I cut the snout off even more, cut that off more, and then polished it. This thing has been just thrown around in toolboxes for a while. It was just kind of a neat little polished ornament, but let me try to find something that's not been polished. Not been polished, not been polished. It's like, Grant, you've polished everything. Perfect. All right. So, well, okay, not okay. So it looks like it was polished at one time. Yeah, it was. But again, kind of like the little water pump turbo thing, it's been just thrown around so much that you can't really tell that it was polished. It's kind of worn off all of its luster, if you will. Okay, so let's take a really good look at this thing. This is not polished. This is not shaved. There's nothing off of this. I don't know that I actually shaved it. Yeah, I shaved it. All right. So if this was like this, and this one would have to be like this. So obviously, you can notice that is not there on that one. That's just part of shaving. You can look down in it. Well, you're not gonna be able to look down in it, but take my word for it. If you look down in it, or even better, if you felt your finger down in there, this is a raised up section. It's not a, there's no window to it. This is just extra material on the outside. So if I was to polish this right now, also, I don't know how well it's gonna pick up. There is a line in it. Yeah, I think it showed. Right down the center. There it is. All the way up. It's really exaggerated right there. So that's something that, if you polished it, you're still gonna see the line. So you need to kind of, when sanding it, you need to also shave certain things. So when I polish things, I shave things like that off, shave these lines off, kind of smooth out these edges. So as you can notice, the line is gone on this one. That little button is gone on this one. So that's what I like to do. So let's say that I was gonna try to polish this right here. I would first start out cleaning it really well. This has just a bunch of oil and grease and dirt and aids all over it. So I would clean it up really well, degrease it, get it ready. Then the first thing I would do is I would take some 80 grit sandpaper, Home Depot, Auto Supply Shop, doesn't matter, 80 grit sandpaper, and sand it. By hand, just rub it. Rub the sandpaper against it. You will start to see, for shits and giggles, maybe I'll grab some. Let's see if I can get this GoPro set up quickly. That thumb screw is tight. Oh. There we go. There. Got some 80 grit sandpaper here. So the first thing we're gonna do, so we're gonna find that ugly line. There it is right there. So I'm gonna run my sandpaper along it, trying to focus my pressure dead on the center of it. It's actually a raised up kind of a lip. So you just wanna focus your sandpaper directly on it. And at first it will kind of make it look accentuated, just because everything's kind of broken through and the metal is reflecting easier off that center thing. All right, so I really hope this comes on camera because this is a great showing of it. All right, so I sanded on this for 30 seconds. Still have the line here, but up where I was sanding, right in here, you can barely see it. So it's not 100% gone yet, but obviously if I can do that in 30 seconds, I can make it go away pretty damn quick. So that's just what you're doing. Now, once you get doing it long enough, you can start to be like, okay, well, this is taking me too long. I don't want to do this by hand. Okay, so instead of sitting here on this little nub and trying to sand it, which wouldn't take that long, 80 grit sandpaper is extremely aggressive. Now, if I could find my die grinder real quick, I could show you something. So obviously I'm not going to be able to do it well. All right. Just picture this was a die grinder and it's not 80 grit, it's like a 36 sanding disc. How about that? Oh wow, that's gonna make the, let me take my arms off the table. Now, you can start to see where the sandpaper, I tried to hold it as flat against that little nub as I could, but you can see where it gets to a point where this starts to get angled and the sandpaper touches around it. That means we're getting it back to flat. But we don't want to concentrate. I mean, obviously I didn't intend to concentrate on those areas, but you want to watch out. We're trying to grind this down. Right now, we're not trying to grind the surrounding area down. The problem you may run into is if you're not paying attention, you could be sanding this little nub, and all the while your sandpaper or sanding disc is hitting unintended area and it's burning a hole in them. Not an actual hole, but it'll be a flat spot. I mean, if it burrows deep enough into the material, it will actually be a hole. So I'm not gonna sit here and do this whole little thing. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea. The basic principles of sanding. Take a bare aluminum part. This goes for steel as well. Take a bare part, sand it with high grit or low grit, 80 grit, and just work your way up. Go from 80. You're always going to knock out the previous grit faster with the closest next grit. So 180 is going to be taken out quickly by 320. 320 is going to be quickly taken out by 400, then 600, then 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and you can either go 2,500 or 3 grand. A lot of times I've found that I can just go from 2 to 3 and it's not a problem. Everything is abrasive. 2,000 grit is abrasive. If I spent $1 billion and got a lifetime supply of 3,000 grit sandpaper, I could eventually sand through a metal plate. It's not cost effective. It's not the right way to do it, but everything with abrasive is abrasive. So it's just a matter of doing things in steps so you use less material. So that's kind of a quick little rundown on sanding. It was kind of just an update video, but it turned really quick into a sanding tutorial. So this got me over the 10-minute mark. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, do all that good YouTube shoot, and I'm out. Peace.